Aloha and welcome back to the Joystick Show, a weekly podcast where three friends from Hawaii talk story about pop culture things that bring us joy. Shock ups and hollows for checking us out. If can, please like and subscribe on any and every podcast platform. Also on YouTube, a 5-star review is greatly appreciated and helps us out a ton. I'm your co-host Drake, and that's Scott,
Kaiju.
and that's Thomas.
What up, what up?
And welcome to episode 169. Is so close to 70. And it's going to be one of the dirtiest episodes yet, both figuratively and literally. But Thomas, why don't you take us to...
How's it literally going to be
well,
dirty?
yeah, I mean...
We're just
I
going to
guess...
put innuendos in every sentence?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I know.
We're just going to stick this thing in a hole?
Yeah, it's probably going to be really sandy because we're doing it on the beach.
Oh, sex on the beach.
That's a great song, actually. Yeah, it's a funky song. Because I'm feeling kind of horny. Okay.
Yeah, Party Pupils, shout out to them. That was fantastic. So yes, I will say we didn't really do a Halloween episode, so I guess this kind of counts.
Spooky.
Yeah, if you were wearing a costume right now, what would you be wearing?
Ooh, I would be in my birthday suit.
Okay, and the costume is?
Me as a baby.
Okay.
Baby me.
Okay, ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
You'd also have to like wax, shave, I'm guessing, a few spots.
No, I came out looking like a chimpanzee in terms of the amount of hair I had on my body. So it is quite frightening, to be honest. But a lot of therapy and a lot of wax got me through that time in my life. So
God, Alondra's so lucky. And Scott, what would you be wearing?
Yeah, I'd be a baby too, but maybe Grogu,
Oh, baby Grogu.
Okay.
Just gotta keep the baby thing
so
going.
you wouldn't be able to talk, and you'd be able to use the Force, and you'd put anything in your mouth and eat it.
Yes.
All right.
You nailed that one, Drake.
All right, yeah. Just put a bag of nails on the ground, just put it in your mouth, you dirty little Grogu.
For the joke.
Tom, who would you be dressed up as? And you can't be something that you already dressed up as. Get creative.
Oh man, yeah. Okay, I guess I got to be a baby.
Yep.
Yeah, I am baby.
Shark doo.
Baby Chimere.
Baby Chimere.
Yeah, I'm Chimere, but like
Jason
not sexy,
Jacinta.
Just a baby. The only thing I have is the helmet on, and and my lightsabers.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier about how if there was like body functioning where you could make the body function sound like a lightsaber. We'll get into that in our Patreon, so stay tuned.
Yeah, just say it.
Oh no, so
I don't want everybody to hear it.
So imagine, right, if and this is for episode 169. Imagine if when a male, right, was coming to climax, okay? And then during a climax, the sound to which the climax was the sound of a lightsaber unsheathing. And then that's what happens as you climax, and then as you take it out,
it's coming out of your body, right? Like
it's coming out of your body. Mouth. It's like a low hum, right? And then as you remove it from the area and it starts to flaccid, it would, as you move it around, it would be vroom, 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 vroom. And that would be pretty cool if your body could do that, but your body can't. So happy Halloween, episode 169. Let's do it.
If you had to pair color with it.
Yeah.
What color would you go?
Ooh, I think it depends on my mood, right? It's like a mood ring, yeah. So maybe if I'm doing a little bit of, I'm doing a little bit of pensive type thinking, and I'm really getting down to my emotions, maybe it'll be red, like a Kylo's lightsaber. And then maybe if I'm feeling a little bit hopeful, it'd be blue. And then maybe if I was feeling like I was like a guardian of sorts, it'd be like a yellow. Not just because I'm Asian, but
okay. I thought you were gonna say green for sure, but then
I mean it would be green too.
And then
Green's
tied
cool.
it too bright. So
Yeah, I know. It kind of got away from me.
This is a great road we went down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like, Grogu, get over here. Where's my lightsaber?
Come on, kid. It's episode 169. Congrats.
All right, here we go. In your endo. Let's do it.
Oh, man. Yeah. I one color I would not want is red.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that might make me think it's a certain time of month.
Ooh, yeah. You're talking about like Black History Month or?
Certain time of month, not a specific month.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where we're going with that.
I thought you were talking about. I thought you were talking about Asian and Pacific Islander Month, API and stuff. But
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a crazy day. I'm glad we're laughing about it because today's been crazy. We are also recording this on election day. It's on election day, and yeah, it's just been tense. So it's great that we're coming together. We got some great stuff this week coming out, or last week that came out. We got an amazing finale to Agatha. We had a couple awesome episodes between our last recording for The Penguin. And then what else do we got on here? We have one trailer we're going to be talking about, a new Star Wars show coming out in December. And then I think the last thing is a movie that I think we all watched and liked. We're getting a new one. We'll start off there. And yeah, the news is the Godzilla -1 director. Let me pull up the name. It's of course not here. Was it Takashi Toho? I think it's
6ix9ine.
Oh. Yeah. What happened to that guy?
I don't know.
He disappeared.
Great question.
He pulled out his lightsaber when he shouldn't have. And yeah, so he's going to be directing a new movie, rightfully so. I think he deserves a new movie. Got an Oscar for the special effects in that movie. Yeah, what do you guys think? Are you excited that this movie in particular is getting a follow-up?
I think yes. I would like to see more. Because so hypothetically speaking, if this is kind of like the resurgence of like OG Godzilla, where it's a man in a suit, because I thought those were pretty cool. I mean, obviously, I know there's a man in a suit, but in these, if we're gonna start to see a little bit more of the same style of cinematography and CG, and also adding in kind of our our well-known other characters, Mechagodzilla, Ghidorah, Mothra, etc. That'd be kind of cool. I would like to see them continue on that that lineage of Gojira.
Yeah, I think it is. It's the same director, and it's carrying on from Godzilla -1. So it's Takashi Yamazaki, and yeah, so I think it's literally a continuation to this movie.
Yum.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, are you
That's
on the
awesome.
same? Are you on the same boat, or do you say let Godzilla die in the Marianas Trench?
Nah, don't let him
Yeah.
die, dude. He's cool.
Yeah.
I think it'd be definitely cool to see more Godzilla. I like seeing also like I like
These
seeing
nuts.
foreign films do well. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, you said these nuts. I thought you said like we can't hear or
You have to
something.
see these nuts. Yeah, and then you just yeah.
It threw me off there. Just worried about my internet again. Yeah, it'd be cool to see. Guys, episode 169 so really dial in that laughter along with us. We're gonna get silly and lightsabers. Godzilla, yeah, Godzilla's cool. I don't even know what I was saying. I want to see more.
Oh, jeez, man. All right, Godzilla's cool. All right, what else?
Godzilla's cool,
Okay,
dude.
we got nothing. We got nothing insightful to say about this one.
More, please.
Yeah. Money, please. Yeah.
Oh my
seriously.
goodness.
Mona
Okay.
Lisa over here, and John Ralphio.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be great. This movie was fantastic. My favorite Godzilla movie of all time. I couldn't even get through Monarchs. You know that show that was on Apple TV.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that.
I tried.
No
I
gracias.
tried
No
multiple times.
gracias.
It's just boring. This movie was fascinating, even from just the human side. I think this is going to be sick. And to your point, Drake, I hope they do bring in other characters in the Godzilla universe and make it make sense, like why this Godzilla would fight other monsters.
Yeah. Please.
You know, that's been a loose premise, I think, in Godzilla movies. Like, well, they're just
Yeah.
hey, there's another monster, so like they fight. Okay,
You're
But,
like,
like,
all right, sick, dude.
give us something else, that we can really sink our teeth into. But yeah, I think this is great, as I love that movie. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. And to my point, Godzilla's cool. So
Yeah.
two more.
And lightsabers.
Yeah.
And lightsabers.
Lightsabers. Godzilla. Cool.
Don't forget that.
All right.
They're all
Yeah.
connected.
Yum.
Wow.
What color? And what color lightsaber would Godzilla have?
Ooh.
It's gotta be green, right?
I mean, well, technically his blast is blue, though.
guy.
His nuclear blast mouth is blue.
That's true.
But I guess it depends. I've never seen. I mean, because typically Godzilla is erect when he is shooting his blast.
Like he's just super hard.
Well, when he's doing his.
Got a boner when he
Which
shoots
movie
at the
did you
atomic-
watch?
It was called Godzilla. Wink, 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 wink.
Drake has that film where it's the rest of the frame. It's like the bottom part of Godzilla. It's
Yeah,
like,
Whoa, dude.
Godzilla +6.
Probably feet, or well, feet seems small for Godzilla because he's like a 13-story tall building.
Yeah.
Right. You know
So maybe more appropriate for like 6-car lengths or something. I don't know.
There you go.
The Joystick Show.
Okay, we got a trailer. This is family friendly. Let's see how we screw this up.
All right.
It's called Star Wars Skeleton Crew. It's coming out December 3rd. Yeah, I think this is Goonies meets Star Wars. This episode, this trailer had a lot of fun stuff in here. What'd you guys think about it?
Yeah, dude, kids, gotta love them in a Disney type situation. I think it was essentially
It's weird to hear you say that. I can't take that seriously.
Sorry. Okay, let me just reel it back. So in terms of Skeleton Crew, essentially that the whole trailer was how do these kids get into these shenanigans in and around the area of Star Wars where they're kind of in the backdrop of the Outlaws at the same time in the backdrop of the Jedi and kind of like Coruscant and kind of this type of situation. So it is very much just like the Goonies. I think it will be interesting to have more of a youth take on the world. I hope they bring some of that adultness to it so that they realize these kids in this very adult / like galactic world. I hope they don't make it too like funny Dora the Explorer. I want to see a little bit more of kids coming into their own and coming of age. But other than that, I think it's very promising. You don't really get to see a lot of lightsabers, but again, that's not the focus. I think.
I don't think
we'll see how these kid actors do. Well, they can't because Padawans, you got to stay 300 feet away from the Padawans.
Gotcha. Scott, what about you? Any thoughts on the trailer from Skeleton Crew?
I thought very much like you were saying, it's Goonies meets Star Wars. I think we have to go into this knowing that there are kids. So it may be tailored towards kids. So our judgment needs to be like in check, I think. Though I do have to say this trailer was really cool. It was put together really nicely. It was a fun trailer. It feels like it's going to be like an action adventure. I could see this being good. I'm hoping it is, but the way it was put together, like it looks like a cool adventure. So like I'm for that.
Yeah, it looks like one of those situations too where like some of the kids meet each other first and then they go to explore the ship and then accidentally turn it on and then like the ship just takes them away. So like they're on this accidental adventure and then like things snowball from there. I dig that. I love that where it's like it's out of our control, but now we're on this crazy, journey. And it seems like we get some of that. But man, I'm kind of blown away by the special effects. Say what you want about like the Acolyte and stuff, but there were certain settings that were like really cool in it. And I feel like this is kind of taking the best of both worlds. Like I think for the most part, Mandalorian does this really well, where it's like they use the volume, but also like it may be almost like a green screen set, but not quite. But it still looks like really lived in and wild and imaginative. Like I think that's the thing I took away from this trailer the most, besides the vibe, was just like the way the sets were designed. It was really freaking cool. I'm like, man, these worlds look awesome. Also, what's up with like suburbia in Star Wars? Like, have we seen that before?
What's up with that?
What's up? Maybe I'm thinking about it because I live in like a little suburban place with like houses and stuff, and the kids came trick or treating. It looks like a place you would go trick or treating in Star Wars.
Yeah, it was like freaking what is that called? Halloween Town, but in freaking Star Wars. It was interesting to kind of see that whole like dynamic. Like there's just like this part of Star Wars where there's no like corruption at all, and you can just have like a suburb. I know, Scott, you've studied suburbs for almost 10 years of your life. You're pretty up to date on, kind of the dynamics of that. How do you feel about that in Star Wars as a whole, seeing kind of a suburb in that dark galactic void?
Yeah, I love a good suburb. Suburbs are cool. I'm glad they started putting that in Star Wars. I think it's something we've been all waiting for. So,
like, I knew you were gonna say this stuff, and I could see on your face, and it still made me laugh. Dang it. Yeah. I was like, what else can he say here?
Yeah, I was like, I gotta say it's cool at least once. There's a couple of points in this trailer where it does feel very movie-like. Like especially that part where they're floating in space and like it's panning around them and they're like, it kind of reminded me of like a Guardians-esque. Like there was a lot more going on other than just them floating in space. Like so it feels like the screen is always full of stuff to like catch your eye. At least the way this trailer was put together. So I'm really digging that. It felt like if this was just gonna be given to us as a movie, it felt like that. So.
Yeah, totally. I think it's going to be served pretty well as a series, though. I really do. I think the constant adventure of like what's going to happen to these kids next. Like I see each episode kind of ending in this place where it's like they get out of one bad situation. There's peace for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We learn some more about the characters, and then by the end of it, they're in a whole new bad situation. And I could see that. We even see in the trailer with Jude Law. I like it that he's gonna be the father figure, but he looks very like serious. He's like, if you guys don't mess around, we could die here. And I don't know. He's bringing this really cool energy to it. I'm excited to see him with these kids and they have like the sci-fi glasses and one's like an elephant. It looks fun. Looks like a ton of fun.
Yeah, I agree.
And what, December 6th?
I think 3rd. Is it 6th? Could
3rd.
Be 6th.
Something looks like early December, nice Christmas time show.
I wonder if it's going to be Christmas-y. They're going to have like space Christmas, cool. Like how Guardians of the Galaxy did.
In the space suburbs?
Yeah, dude. Space burbs with space Christmas trees and space Santa Claus. Or Space Claus.
Oh, what if they show us Star Wars Santa Claus?
Oh, wow.
Or how
probably
they
a Twi'lek with really big, jolly old Twi'lek things that they things.
All right, we stopped there, huh?
Yeah. I was like, where's this turning?
Twilight Jingle Bells, let's go.
Twilight Jingle Bells, hey dude. All right. 2
lightsabers just jingling from the Twi'lek's head.
Yes, dude. Touch my kyber crystals, would you?
There you go. Turn me on.
There you go,
yeah. So this looks fantastic. We get it. It's not even that far away. One more month, get a new Star Wars show. This is awesome.
The Joystick Show.
All right, let's get into reviews because I think everybody's here for it. We have not talked about. Do you want to start with Agatha or do you want to start with the Penguin?
Probably.
I remember a lot more about Agatha.
Oh yeah, let's go Penguin then.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the Penguin. Scott, you can.
Then we'll end on Agatha. I feel like.
Yeah,
we'll end on Agatha because it is the conclusion of it. I think you're right. I think that's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's take it away on episode 6 because I think this is the moment where they've moved the drops operation underneath the subway. Oz has got his things popping. He's got jobs for everybody. Hey, here's some cash. Say hi to your mother for me. All that stuff. I almost made a Mark Wahlberg, but like this is. Just a really kind of cool episode, but it also makes Vic confront some things along with, does Sophia get the dad she's always wanted in her biggest enemy? I don't know. What was your thoughts on this episode, Scott?
It was a good episode. I saw online, I guess it didn't do too well, but I really enjoyed it. I felt like it moved characters along.
Like people didn't like rate it that high or something?
Yeah, it was like I saw a rating. It was like 6 or whatever. But it's like they can't all be 10. You know what I mean? But this, I feel like this did a good job of moving characters along, kind of wrapping up, either like wrapping up things we were thinking about that happened, or just showing a little bit more about like what characters are capable of what. So because in this episode, they kind of do a little callback to, what's the main bad lady's name? She Sophia? Let her like little niece live. Sophia, Sophia let her niece live, and then she went back and checked on her because they're like she might be talking. So she went back, and like what first seemed like she was like gonna maybe like, do I kill this kid or not? Turned into her seeing herself in this kid, and she was like, I'm just gonna tell her the truth. You know, like our family was awful. They deserve to die. You don't deserve to grow up under that rule. Also, hopefully keep your mouth shut. But I'm gonna take a different route than than the route that was given to me growing up. So I thought that was pretty powerful. Victor standing up to Squid, who was a guy who used to pretty much run his neighborhood back before the flood, is trying to muscle his way back in.
But also, like, he tried to.
Victor
like, Vic gave him an option. You know, like, Vic was like, hey, bro, like, they're not looking for anybody. I'm going to feed you this cash. And he's like, don't even, like, you can't pay me off, Vic. So at that point, I don't know about you, but I was thinking, oh, man, this is going to go bad. Someone's not walking away from this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. I was like, he has to. Otherwise, I mean, he could have, like, found Penguin, and Penguin could have taken care of it, but then going forward, Vic is going to be seen a certain way by Penguin, maybe like not able to take care of himself. He wouldn't be able to maybe move up the way he's going to. But I think this was something he needed to do on the path he's on. Like it just like it made sense, and it's not like he was happy about it, which was good. I'm glad they showed that. Like it made him like physically sick, doing it. But
and then you get this like really like odd in a sense of like, wow, Oz has this emotional side and he's almost fatherly to him. But then he like brings him in, he gives him a hug. He's like, oh, Vic, you got to do it, man. Like you had to do it. You protected everybody. Like all that kind of stuff. And you're like, man, Oz is that messed up that he thought this was, he's teaching this kid like you did the right thing by murdering this guy. Just because he's doing the same thing that you want to do, like try to cut into this crazy business. But man, I thought that kid sold it. I think this guy, whoever the actor is that is playing Vic, really
he's good.
That.
I really like him.
Yeah, me too. And he was unexpected, because I think he was getting a lot of flack in those first couple episodes. But now it really seems like he's really stepped into his own. He's a solid actor. He's really like sympathetic. You really feel bad for him in a lot of situations. That was crazy. I think, I honestly think Vic doesn't survive this season the way it's going. We also know by the time we get to episode 7, he's still not free. He's still captured by, is it Sophia? Yeah, Sophia and I guess Maroni team up. But he's still captured. So like, man, he had to do something special in this episode, and I feel for him. Even the way it ends too.
The episode. Yeah. What a crazy ending. Like it ends on like this really nice moment of Vic bonding with Penguin's mom, and then it kind of like zooms out and you just see someone in the hallway or like in the entrance with their like crowbar, and then I think they show Sophia's face though right afterwards.
They do.
But she does such a good job too as being like menacing and scary, and I can't help but like compare other shows like while I'm watching the show, and this made me think of like that was for me personally, that was the one thing in The Last of Us that I didn't feel hit as strong was that one lady who was like running that town who was trying to be menacing.
You're always stuck on Kathy, man. What's wrong with Kathy?
I'm stuck, Kathy. I was like,
give Kathy a break.
She's too sweet. She's too sweet.
But
I was like, if Kathy was more like Sophia, she'd be further in this world.
Like every time you see her, you think men. Because I like know her from 2.5 Men. So,
is that what she's from? I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yeah. She plays like Charlie's like nosy neighbor, basically. She hops over the fence and she just like invites herself in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, and real quick, when back to the squid thing and Vic, when he was do you think Penguin heard him when Penguin's fixing the radio and he was like, "Hey, I got this problem." You think Penguin was just his way of being like, "This is like you got to deal with this," because he's like, man, he changes the subject and then he's like, what were we talking about? And then I think it was like another way to be like, do you want to ask me again or you want to just take care of this yourself? Because then later, like you said, when he did it, he came back and he's like, hey, you had to do it. So it's like, whoa, you heard him then, right? That's what I was thinking.
Damn, that's a good pinpoint. You're right, because it's not oddly specific that you pointed out, but it is something that stands out in the show, and I don't see a lot of people talk about that moment. But you're right. I think he did hear him, and I think he was saying like, I didn't even take it as like you got to figure this out yourself, but also like your shit isn't as important as mine. Like I got way bigger stuff to do. So you're right. Maybe this is him. That was him saying, yeah, you got to take care of this yourself. Like, don't come to me with this. It's like 8 or above, man. And this is like a 5. I need you to bring like 8 or above.
Like I can't hold your hand.
Good call out though.
Yeah.
I like that you highlighted the scene because you're right. Because then all of a sudden Oz just jumps right into his own thing, and we kind of know he is selfish and yada yada. But it's so weird because it seems like such a moment where he would really try to be vulnerable with him, and they try to connect, but then it doesn't happen. Yeah, that's a crazy one, and also for them to be brought back to Crown Point and be in this like slum of a house and the power's out. It's just kind of like Oz is this huge operation, and he's probably pushing hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions at this point with all the bliss. But like, it's just him, Vic, and the mom. And it's like real, it's just real, like personal. It's a cool, it's a cool kind of situation, I think, for these characters.
I forgot about that. The power was out. That's what you're saying. Yeah. As soon as the power went on, you were happy for a second, and then it was like this, oh, something bad's about to happen.
That's right.
Sophia was in the... That's what it was. That was
the mom starts hearing the music. She's like, "Oh, I love this song. I remember it."
Yeah,
it's really cool. They're doing this thing too, where it also kind of ties into like 50s and 60s, like pop culture or music or like shows. We see in the next episode, Top Hat. I forget who it is. Like classic, like singer or dancer back in the day. But it's very much like that big stage kind of look, and everybody is wearing tuxedos and top hats. But we also get a flashback to Oz and his brothers and like that relationship. And they're honestly like a good family. They're not doing super well, but they like the brothers really look out for each other. You can tell they care about each other. Oz's older brother definitely like cares about him. And he's got this really sweet younger brother. But then we see with the name that I couldn't remember a couple episodes back, but like Rex Calabrese. And we see like Rex Calabrese on the corner with the big rims. And he's making deals on the corner, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, Tony? Here, how much money did he give you? Oh, he gave me $50." Like it is interesting to see it. Like we've heard from Oz's perspective, but now getting to see it happen, it's like he wasn't really that great of a guy. Like he didn't do anything that special, but Oz for some reason saw him as like the dude. He was the guy in town that like knew everybody and was the man. Always had cash, probably. That was a good episode too.
Yeah, really good. You see like the mom, it seems like her main job was like maybe like running the books or something for him, and she would get paid. Remember the older brother's like, he's not a good guy. Mom deserves way more than what he's paying. And then, Penguin just sees like what are you talking about? He's the dude, he's the guy in the town. Like, and he's also wanting to get that respect, right? He's walking by, the older brother goes up to him, he gets the 50, and then as they're walking, he's like, "Hey Rex, how's it going?" And the older brother's like, "Dude, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you doing? Like, stop trying to associate yourself with this guy." Yeah. So you're right. Cause it does. And you get a peek into like Oz, maybe because of his disability and whatnot, like he kind of wants more of his mom to himself. Even though it seemed like the mom did a good job of like loving each of them. Totally. But he seemed like he kind of would get jealous when she was showing affection to the other kids. Maybe because he's not able to do all the things that they're able to do or whatnot, but it never seemed like they were making fun of him for it, at least in this episode, right? And I think that's what they wanted us to see. So for whatever reason, he was just kind of skewed in this like kind of, I don't know where the selfishness kind of comes from or whatever, but maybe it's just because of his disability and not being fair for him or something,
Right. Yeah.
Then it gets taken into what they end up doing.
Right, which then leads them into the tunnels that we see now, where he's doing the Bliss operation in modern day. But back then, him and his brothers go down there. It's a rainy night, and they're playing whatever. I almost said lightsaber tag, but like they weren't.
Hey yo!
You know what it reminded? It reminded me of Drake's game. Capture the light, whatever.
Yeah. Dude. For everybody listening right now, Drake created this fantastic game.
Like it had
like a giant,
so intricate.
So intricate, so detailed.
They have so many rules.
We played one time at the middle school in Milani, right? Like, how many people showed up? Because it was a lot, I feel like.
Yeah, I think there was like 16 people. It was in the double digits, but below 20 for sure.
16 people, though. And it was like 16, pages of rules. There was medics. I mean, it was fantastic. Say anything else you want to say about this game, because it was awesome.
Oh, so essentially you had different classes. You had to wear certain colors as well too. and then you kind of had to stick to it was like an honor system, like essentially a game of tag / capture the flag that involved glow sticks that were hidden across a map, and i.e. the schools, empty schools that you would have been able to go through. So it was a fun like nighttime outdoor movie game that's not just like sitting down playing video games, which is awesome, but like let's get up and move kind of a situation.
Drake, we gotta just like throw out the rules online and be like, hey, is anybody interested in playing this? I guarantee there would be like a crowd of people.
Still have an OG printed rule situation. I gotta find
a first edition, dude. Let's bust out the first edition. Let's put that on social. But yeah, so Oz's brothers try to play this game, but like super juvenile, like way lesser level. And they basically go down a ladder, and Oz can't follow them, and he takes like offense to it, and ends up locking them, up at the top, and the rain is just pouring down, and you hear them screaming, "Get us out!" and it just drowns out. Now, I got a good question from somebody online after we posted something about it. They're like, "Do you think he knew by locking them in there that it would kill them, or do you think he just locked them and was like, screw you guys, and left, and then they accidentally died?" What's your take on it, Scott?
I think it's maybe a couple things. It seems like his character is very like impulsive and justifies the means of what he does, and like then misplaces the blame. Like he's like, well, it wasn't my fault. Like if they didn't just like belittle me like that. I don't think he thought they were gonna die, for one thing. Because he closed and he's like, yeah, let's see you get out of that. And I think he probably thought they could have. Also, I don't think he thought it was gonna rain that hard where it would flood. Right. Worst case for him, like what? They sleep there overnight. He comes back and he's like, yeah, that's what you get, right? Right. But he sees it raining outside, so it's like he sees that that's a possibility, and he's kind of worried, but at the same time, he's like also loves the attention he's getting from his mom. And I'm sure going forward, he probably spun it in a way, never said it out loud, like where it was definitely his fault. There's probably a lot of different things that were why it happened. You know what I mean? Right, I feel like that's probably what his character is. He probably does feel, genuinely bad for it if it ever gets brought up to him. But yeah, I'm sure it's like, no, it was a misunderstanding, blah, 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 Yeah. It's really sad, though. It was really sad to see. It sucks that, he talks about his brothers, and this is like, he's the direct cause of their death. And so young, too. I didn't realize they were like that young or whatever. Maybe I wasn't thinking back far enough when the stories he was talking about. But it was just pretty sad to hear the water coming out. That was a good way to show it, too. Like, they didn't really show a lot of children suffering, which is great. It was just like audio, they're behind the door. More powerful that way, I guess. The water coming out, and then the last gurgle at the end. You're like, oh my god, dude, they're all dead. Yeah.
Either way, you're like, man, he is a dick. For me, it's like you still left your brothers in the pouring rain.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. I too don't think that he purposely locked them in there, knowing that they were gonna die. I think he locked them in there, like to your point, and it was like, I'll get you guys out in the morning. You'll learn your lesson. And then it was like the next morning, you're like, yeah, you have to swim there with like a scuba tank if you want to get them out. And he's like,
because also, to be fair, like when we were younger and like there were floods, like in Hawaii at least, dude, we would. Yeah, the whole family would go down there, and I closed the door, and it was fine then. And why isn't it fine now? No, it's like
they're all ghosts.
I don't know you, but like in our neighborhood, like when the water would start flooding and like in the grass and stuff, we just grab like our boogie boards and start like sliding it and stuff, not thinking about where this water's coming from, where it's running through. Let alone like, oh, if you were to get stuck in a bunch of moving water somewhere, you might drown there. Like these are definitely things that aren't in my mind. I'm not thinking about certain places in the sewer line that's like flooded, like certain places for runoff. Like I doubt he's even reading that door. So certain things
that he could read
are just like out of the realm of belief, like, or even just ignorance. He doesn't know. He probably sees the rain outside. He's like, man, it's raining really hard. I hope they're not getting too wet. Like maybe that's what his thoughts were too. So it's a lot for a kid to think about. To be like, oh yeah, that's exactly where the overflow goes. I doubt he's thinking about that. So But I'm sure going forward, growing up, he's justifying it.
Oh. Well, for you both, first season down, whose team are you on? Who's the better villain? Oz Cobb, Sofia Gigante. Who are you taking?
Who's a better villain?
Yeah.
I like Oz.
Yeah, I still gotta give it to Oz, and it's not taking anything from Kristen Milioti, but like,
Oh yeah.
she's very, very sympathetic. Because the difference between her and Oz is Oz purposely put his brothers down there and locked them in there, but she went to prison for her dad just wanting to put the blame on somebody, and because she was getting too close to the truth of like calling him out, and like she didn't do anything, and then her 6 months in prison turned into 10 years, and she was tortured for 10 years. To me, that's way worse. A lot of the torture that Oz, maybe he was picked on, maybe, it was coming from other places we didn't get to see, but a lot of it was self-inflicted. And so she had things put on her. He put things on himself. It's just, it's really well done. And granted, she's done some pretty horrible stuff this season too, but I actually feel like her shit's more justified than his stuff in a way.
Yeah, I think she was like, definitely created. Or it seemed like he just literally took that route growing up. Like life's unfair because he had to wear that brace and stuff, and like you either sit there and wallow, you become a better person for it and like uplift other people, or you just take because life was taken, from you. Right. Kind of thing. And he definitely took that route, and I think it just compounds.
You get better or you get bitter.
Or bitter melon.
Oh, that's one shirt right there.
Get better, bitter, bruh. Better, bitter.
Bitter,
bitter, but not a quitter.
Oh, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Right, master.
This was the drink.
Oh, way, dude. Oh, way.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. She also has to confront or align with somebody that her family has told her is the biggest enemy. And after she hooks up with her therapist, she comes out and sees him cooking a pretty nice meal for her. And they have a lot in common, actually. They both bond over her hate for her dad, and it makes sense. Like Oz is really fucked with too many of the same people in a sense, and now they're kind of coming after him. And I think this was a cool kind of it's not like a big twist, but it's kind of a cool combination of how these things kind of lined up. And yeah, them partnering up is like, yeah, let's take down Oz. The way this episode ends, again, episode 6 with the crowbar, to me instantly thought, because there's a big rumor online, or not, I don't know if it's confirmed at this point, but basically the Penguin and Victor are supposed to be mirrors of Batman and Robin. And now who I think Victor, which Robin he is Jason Todd. Because the fact that Sophia comes with the crowbar, we know that Robin was killed with the crowbar in The Killing Joke. I think these are the parallels they're setting. Same way, Victor, or Robin in the comics, Jason Todd was introduced to Batman by trying to steal the rims off his car. Well, we see Victor trying to steal the rims off the Penguin. So I think that's the parallels they're trying to draw here. And I think it's pretty cool how they kind of finish that. And it really puts Oz in a bad situation where like the two people he's the most close to are now captured by his greatest enemies. And I think that's where kicks off episode 7. And I'll be honest, like this episode to me was pretty slow. I didn't love this episode either, but I think this is a penultimate episode. There's a lot. It's kicking off for this final episode, but it does end with a literal and metaphorical bend.
It does. And I like the Oz's confrontation with wasn't it Maroni guy?
Yeah.
When they're fighting and they're going Oz is getting some shots into and stuff, and then Maroni just either has like a heart attack or a stroke, some sort, and just is falling over, and Oz is like, no, you don't get to go out like this. He dies, and Oz is pissed off about it. No, I'm supposed to be able to kill you, and he shoots him anyway.
Right.
But it's funny because it still eats at him that way. It's damn, I still didn't get respect in the end.
Right.
So I'm gonna shoot this guy so people know I shot him, and hopefully they think I killed. Because even he's like, I killed you. He's like, all right, dude. But it's all about getting respect for him.
But he didn't even have to shoot him. I was like, okay, I get it. He's kind of mad, but he literally could have walked out and been like, I beat him to death. But no, it wasn't enough to be like, no, nobody will believe this. I have to shoot him so everybody knows that I killed him. That's the crazy part where it's like, damn, he wants to be known that much for it that he's gonna already just shoot a dead body. He's amazing. Like Colin Farrell is crushing in this. So good.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's a pretty wild penultimate episode. We get the finale this week. I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know. Do you guys have any other thoughts on episode 7 before we dive into Agatha?
Nope. No, it's really good. I'm digging it.
Yeah. Likewise. Man, if they do more of these villain stories, like with Matt Reeves' universe, man, I'm so on board with that. As long as they run the Pattinson trilogy, you know, like Mr. Freeze, Clayface, whoever would be so cool.
That'd be sick.
Dude, Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Poison Ivy. Dude, there's
Tyler's Poison Ivy. Oh my god.
Damn, don't get me excited. That would be fantastic casting. Let's create that. All right, let's move on to Agatha because I think we were already talking about it before we start recording. This has to be the surprise hit of the year. I think I don't know
for everybody.
Do you think for everybody?
For everybody.
Definitely for me. I am so floored by what they were able to do with this series and took a character that didn't have a big comic history that nobody really even cared about from the comics and kind of made her really special and like build on this area of the Marvel universe. Scott or Drake, take it away. Actually, was going to you, Drake.
Yeah, Drake.
Take it away on episode 8, and then we'll kind of dive into episode 9.
Oh, I mostly watched episode 9. I barely remember episode 8. So let's switch it up because I know more of 9 than I do 8.
Okay.
But I do know more about 69 than I do about just 9.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry.
Fair enough. Okay. Episode 8 felt very much like that could have been the ending of the series.
Sure.
Like, what threw me off too is it seemed like 2 episodes got released, right? I thought I missed a week somehow. I was like, how did I what? I thought I was caught up. And then they released 8 and 9. 8 finishes up the arc of
the Witch's Road.
Why am I drawing blanks on names when I need names? Yeah, Witch's Road.
Was it Jennifer or Jennifer Kale?
The salad?
No.
Okay. Caesar Kale salad?
No. The main kid, what's his name?
Billy Maximoff.
Wanda's kid. Billy Maximoff, yeah. Maximoff and Agatha and Death. Like, there's this showdown that happens. To kind of sum it up, Agatha gets her powers back. You think it's gonna be in a way where she's gonna like turn on him, and in the beginning he's like, no, F you, die. I'm not gonna do it because you're gonna take all my power. And then at the very end he like gives her power and she actually shuts it off. It's like, hey, you can actually keep some power. We're gonna take on Death. I feel like it wrapped up so good, and then we got this bonus episode of like a backstory. But before we go into the fight, like, can you refresh my memory on like the lead up to that fight? Like,
so this episode starts off a really cool way. We get to see what actually happens when you die. We see Alice is taken up by Death, Rio, right? And she has to confront. She's like, no, I got through my trauma. I want more time. And she's like, man, if I had a nickel. And I love that because, I mean, probably everybody, we know life's going to come to an end. And whether you get to be 86 or just 8, I think it's never, it never feels like you have just enough time. And we all just kind of fell in love with Alice and she's kind of moved through it, but she served her purpose. You were a protection witch and you died protecting. What else do you want? And she's like, yeah, I just figured that out. I thought that was an amazing way to start this off because I wasn't ready to say bye to Alice in the way we did. So it was kind of nice to see, what Death is like doing her job. And so I thought that was really, really cool. Then it picks back up. Jennifer and Billy are in that stairwell kind of outside the Iron Maiden, and Lilia sacrificed herself, taking out the Salem 7. And, they're kind of coming to grips with like, okay, she's gone. We have one last challenge to do. And they end up at the start of the Witch's Road. And they're like, wait, it's a giant circle. How the heck does that work? He puts on his shoes, screw this. They wake up in the morgue. And then from there, it's now Jennifer's trial. And there's so many hints to it. It obviously has to be Jennifer's trial, but there's so many hints to like what has bound her, how her powers work. And the only thing I can say, 9 out of 10 for me on both this finale. But talking to Frank earlier when we were doing our challenge accepted review, I do kind of agree that that story was a little bit rushed in the conclusion. So we had heard throughout the season, I was bound by this guy. It looked like a doctor from the 1920s, and she wanted to blame him, and it's his fault, and then out of nowhere, it's kind of like Agatha's like, wait, you were in Boston in 1920? Oops, oops. Oh, well, that might have been me. It was kind of like it was cool to know that, but also like it did feel rushed in a way where again, it was nice that she unbound herself using the spell, but like it was like, man,
convenient,
a little convenient, convenient. Yeah. What do you guys think about the whole morgue situation and this trial?
I like that. I like the whole don't steal her. What is it? Don't steal her struggle. when she came out of the, she's like, help me, and then Maximoff's gonna help her. Yeah, like, don't steal her struggle. I don't know. I thought that was just like a funny little add-on. Like, let her struggle and like do what we just went through. But also it's funny because it ended up being her, challenge or whatever. So in a way, but I thought that was cool.
You're right.
Yeah. It was cool. It's weird. Like they got a lot done in like what's kind of feels like a boring background. Yeah. I thought maybe they're gonna open more drawers or something, or they had to do with more of that. But it was literally like did I hit my mic? The surrounding the lights that were used as a countdown.
That was smart.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was clever. Yeah, you're right. It was like on paper it should be like a really boring background, but it was so intense after you get out of the beds, all pushes away, and it's just the surface. And like, this is supposed to be the Earth challenge. How do we grow something in a place that's just like cement and steel looking?
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. Drake, do you remember some of the scene?
I vaguely remember some of the scene. When you were talking about it, when you was like, if I had a nickel, I just think it's so interesting that Death uses U.S. currency as her primary currency. So America, let's do it.
I wonder if she uses language that's,
Oh,
like
that's frequent?
Recognize.
Well, just burst my bubble, sir.
And she's like, well, this is a saying where you come from. But okay, cool.
But where I'm from.
American.
So
also, I was thinking, does like, in this world, she died. She's like, I don't have enough time, or I want to stay a little longer. Like, does Death, like, it seems like they don't even give you a minute to like comprehend what's going on. So you ready to go? And she's like, I just died. Like, and you think like if time's a construct, then Death could be like, you can take as long as you want. We're going, but I'll wait here with you. But she's like, yes. Yeah, I don't know. Also show.
She had to get back on the road, man.
She's like, there's a lot of people dying right now, and I take time to meet you in person, so be honored.
Yeah. And and also too, so I guess leading into the finale, right? The last one where we kind of see her meet up with Agatha, and Agatha just so happens to be a pie. Is that?
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting, kind of the dynamic of Agatha being, I guess, a single mom, and then kind of Death looming. And I guess I didn't really know. Was Agatha just had a baby? Like,
yeah. Oh, yes. We'll get. Yeah, we have the Nicholas scratch of it all. Before we get quite there, though, I want to wrap up this episode because they make it out of this challenge, right? Jennifer gets her wish. Her magic's pink, just like her dresses have been, just like the stone in her on her dresses, like her brooch has always been pink. I thought that was a pretty cool distinction. But they get out, and then there's Rio, right? And we get to your point, Scott, like the classic Marvel finish where it's a battle, but then we get the reveal of Wiccan, and it's like full Wiccan garb. He's like fully dressed up. I don't know. What did you guys think about that? I lost my shit. I thought that was super dope. I love the Young Avengers series, and I think it was really cool to see Wiccan fully realized.
I agree. I thought that was sick to see him. This was like the one time where, actually, maybe on the Hawkeye show too was it was cool to see that, but like a Young Avengers sort of. So I was like, oh, this fits so good, and I felt like he was powerful. Like I was like, I want to see him in more things. Like I've grown to really like this kid and this character he's doing and everything. I was pumped for sure. I was like, fuck yeah, like let's go. And then I was wondering, like, man, when he gave her powers, does he get some of that back, or he just like made himself weaker going forward? Like that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I think he made himself weaker. I will say too, it was like pretty violent, which I dug. Like death by 1,000 cuts. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
The way she like busts out the wires and like slashes her Achilles and brings her into the thing. I was like, damn, this is pretty aggressive. But yes, she finally shuts off her ability to suck in the energy, and we see why she does that in the next episode. So the whole time, even with Al, it's like that was the plan, was to like drain them so she could get some power, which was pretty a crazy reveal, I think, in the next episode. But yeah.
I also like the her remembering like, when she says this duck, and it was like a kitchen sink, I think, thrown at her.
When she calls you a coward, hit the deck.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah, showing too that freaking Lilia, her powers extend past her life. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Well, another shout out. The costuming was again fantastic, but I really dug Rio's hood, and then now you get to see the full skull kind of on her mouth.
Yeah.
She had a lot of cool, different like change up costumes. Like it was awesome.
She did. Yeah. I mean, from holding the dagger and the flower in one hand, very much like the tarot card, showing like the Green Witch is not only responsible for like things blooming, but also decay, then feeding the earth to then restart the cycle. I thought that was really dope. But yeah, that fight was really, really fun. And it was like kind of this dueling of magic. So it was sick. Eventually, Agatha then gives in to Rio, decides to sacrifice herself out of nowhere, so to speak, gives herself the kiss of death, and then becomes a part of the earth, allowing Rio to then take a soul and leave Billy behind. So I thought that was a really fantastic way to end this episode. And you're right. He leaves Westview the same way Wanda left Westview. And it's really powerful. All the towns watching him and like, who the hell is this kid? And we've been traumatized again. I don't know about you guys, but I'd instantly move out of that town. If like this happened to me every 3 years, I'd be like, F this place.
The neighbors, is it happening again?
You're right.
That's so funny.
Like, screw that. I'm
leave, dude. Yeah.
Like, I'd sell that shit. I'd get out of there.
Also, you're maybe right about to say it, but he talks about his brother, right? And then saving his brother's soul.
Yeah.
That was this episode too. She helps him find Tommy.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't want to. And then there was someone right about to die. So then he's like found a vessel, but he's torn between being able to do that, like, if it's right or not.
Like, am I going to kill this kid?
Cool too. Yeah.
Right.
Because he's drowning. He's like, no one's going to save him. But is it right that I put Tommy in him? I thought that was all interesting.
Very interesting. And if you look at like the coloring of the kid, like everything he's wearing is very much like Speed from the comics. It's green, there's some white streaks in there, and then it's like some parts are blue. So it's like, damn, they're really nodding that Tommy's out there. And that was a cool way, which, we gave out 5 predictions before the premiere ended on Challenge Accepted. And that was one of the things. I was like, we're not getting Tommy, but we're getting a vision of Tommy. So I was like, check.
Nice.
And I knew that this was going to be like, if they hadn't cast Tommy yet, it wouldn't make sense to show him, but to show like where he might be. And it seems like, again, this is going to put him on a path to find him and then lead to eventual things. But I think that was an awesome way to do it. Now, fast forward, Drake, to your point, in episode 9, she starts off as the maiden, and then we see she becomes a mother, and then she becomes a crone, which is what her brooch is, right? And that's the first thing, right? The maiden. And I think that was you're right. It was so unexpected to see kind of a prequel for the last episode, and yet it completely works. Drake, what are you thinking at that point? Like, okay, she's apparently going to give birth. We see Rio. It goes from there.
From there, I was like, man, when did she have the time to just get a baby in her? You know what I mean? Must have been episode 69 for her. And as it was going through, you Rio in the beginning was very much foreshadowing, and that does kind of come to fruition towards the end. And then you kind of see the journey of this single mother, and you have a lot more, I think, empathy for Agatha. Obviously, single mothers are going to get that empathy. I have a single mom, and so does Scott. So to have kind of like all of that weight kind of carried through, and then it does kind of montage a little bit, but it is a very great kind of wrap up to all of the events that took place within Agatha as a complete season. And so essentially from there, she has the baby, Rio comes along, she's like, nah. and then the child gets a little bit older and they're going through their shenanigans of like, he's singing in the pub or he's stealing a thing, and then all this time the mom essentially has to protect him from his shenanigans. And as she's taking these lives, she gets to a place where you kind of see the montage of her kind of doing her thing where she's taking powers from other witches, and it gets to a point where she's kind of chilling out back and relaxing, all cool, sleeping on the side of a tree in the woods. And Rio comes along.
I was really waiting for the rhyme at that point. I was like, oh, I was gonna rhyme this bad boy.
And Rio's kind of waiting on the edge of the woods, looking in. She's like, come here, little boy. And he's like, what, me? And she's like, no, that motherfucker. And he's like, well, she's not getting up, so I'll hang out with you. And then Agatha wakes up and she's like, hugging this, dead body, witches, they do weird things. And then
okay.
And then it gets to a point where it comes
to witch weirdness.
Yeah, witch weirdness, you know what I mean? And then yeah, and she kind of concludes with her and essentially like Wiccan coming together, and Wiccan standing on the door to the Witch's Road, and it turns into essentially like a monument. Mm-hmm. And then essentially the walls open, the doors open, and they walk into what's going to be the future of Marvel.
Yeah,
I think I hope I did a good job at kind of recapping that quite quickly.
No, yeah, you did a fantastic job. Yeah, what did you guys think this realization, right? Why does she suck in everybody's powers and all this stuff? Is it can she not control it? Can she? Is it part of her power? Is she cursed with it? There's all these questions going around all season. And then to realize, like, no, this was always the plan. Even the whole idea of the Witch's Road, the song that her son creates that starts off the winding road, and then it's just this big plot and grift.
It's a huge con.
It's a huge con. Yeah. Like, let's talk about that. I mean, because for me, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. What was your guys' thought process as you're like watching this?
Yeah, no, I thought that was it was like a misdirect that landed for me. I liked because there was still an actual Witch's Road that was constructed by a Maximoff. Kind of like, in Iron Man 3 where he's like, I'm not really the Mandarin or whatever, and he's like, I'm just an actor. Right. And then there was no like, but there's this. It was just like, nah, we just lied to you. Right. That was a letdown. So this was like, it was comparison. Like that, but you still got the thing, because even Agatha was like, the fuck? Right. And you go back to her. I love that they replayed the scene, because I was like, I'm gonna have to rewatch this episode now. And then they played, and I was like, okay, good. And you see her like, yeah, you guys suck. And like at the door, he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then they had to run down. Everything's just happened. She's like, what the fuck is happening? I thought that was great. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. For hundreds of years, she's been tricking people like, oh man, you guys suck. You can't do this. You should just blast me. As soon as her powers. And then all of a sudden, one time it works. She's like, what the F did I do that?
It's not me. What the hell is that?
Right. And that is like a cool way to spin it too, but also then tying it to very much what Wanda did. She created this whole world and reality around her powers. Of course, Billy would be able to do it. And his realization, I think it was even at the end where he's like, what the heck? Like, I created it, and they're showing all the little things in the room. That's like, oh, this is like the Witch's Road. This is the beach house. This is the shoes, all that stuff. I was like, damn.
Which was funny. When he's like, he's like, I murdered them. She's like, well, I mean, I killed whatever. And then she's like, oh, but what's her name? The neighbor? Like, and she's like, oh yeah, that like Garner lady. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I thought it's funny just seeing him like really beat up about it, and like she's still like fucking asshole like that. Who cares about that person,
Yeah.
There's definitely certain things she cares about.
Yeah. How many people she's killed? She's like, I don't know. It's so many.
In the ground. And even that, right? You're going back and you're seeing this like little con they have. Like, he leads them out, and then down the road, and she's like absorbing all these powers, killing all these witches, right? We don't know if they're good or bad. Some of them seem good, right? In this world, I assume there's good witches too. Pretty sinister if it wasn't put behind like nice Disney spin, right? Yeah. Like if this was like a crazy killer movie, like where a mom like lures people into her van using her kid and then like chops them up, like it'd be like a whole different thing. Like how, like, right. But in this scenario, we're kind of everything. Yeah, it's like it's kind of sinister. She's murdering people, and like you know she loves her son, but it's kind of messed up to be like, hey, I love you, but like we gotta keep murdering, okay? Like it's like it's sick. Like so, in a way, it's kind of good. The son could have grew up and like been worse, or something. I had a couple questions too.
In the
like,
comics, he was.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
In the comics, he definitely was worse. So yeah.
Okay, there you go. Don't feel bad now.
I don't.
I was wondering, like, in the comics, they probably explained this, right? It seemed like her and Death had this thing, right? But at the end of the episode, she kisses her. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, kiss of death, right? So I was like, was the whole thing just like getting her to like that was their like playing with they're turning Death into like this like relationship almost. But why would Death give her time for her son, right? Like, because it seemed like he was supposed to die at birth. But she's like, please, and like for whatever reason, that's like, okay, but I'll come. I won't tell you when I come back. But so I'm like thinking, like, why? Why would she? What is it about Agatha that where she was like, okay, I'll give you time. Like, why do I love you? It seems like they have something going on where she kind of bend the rules a little bit for her.
True. Yeah.
I didn't know why.
That's a good point. I don't know, but I also think that Agatha, before there was like mass killing and stuff, was also like bringing her consistent bodies over and over and over.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And bringing so much so that it was like, you know what, I can let you slide. And I also think that there was a genuine attraction between them and a genuine love. Like we've even kind of seen it in the comics with her and Thanos. And Thanos is so infatuated and he's created the Infinity Gauntlet in the comics is so much so that he could wipe out or kill half the universe to appease death.
Yeah.
And so she's had attraction to physical beings before in the comics. I think it was the mixture of what Agatha was bringing her, and also her by doing this, she was also averting her life and kind of moving it away from death. So it also became this thing of like, I can't get you, and there's something about that I like. And it's very much that way for Death and Deadpool. Like they have a big relationship in the comics too. Well, it's one-sided, but basically Death. I think Deadpool's at the front. Death is chasing Deadpool. Then Thanos is chasing Death. And like she's always after Deadpool because he's immortal. He can't die. So there's something about that she loves, and also it's like he doesn't give a shit really. He's kind of just keep doing his thing. Very much like Agatha in this show. Like she's out for number one. I'm gonna keep doing me, and I think I like that parallel from the comics. But yeah, I think it's that mixture of like you gave me something I can't get you, and like you have this attitude that's different than anybody else on the planet because of what you could do. And I don't know. I
that's
feel like
true.
That really shines through.
Yeah, I forgot she's like a top earner for Death, right?
yeah. So she's been employed for the month. Like happily,
yeah. All right,
top day.
Keep bringing me your quota. I'll let your kid live.
Oh God, you went way above and beyond. Yeah, okay, you can go. You can leave. You can leave work.
Her fourth quarter numbers are looking real good right now. She's probably due for a promotion.
Yeah, exactly. As if there's anywhere else to go up, she would, but there's just nowhere to go. Until the Darkhold popped up and some girl named Wanda encased the whole town in magic without even really trying. How the heck did that happen? And that then makes sense why she would then go into WandaVision and try to figure out how to steal her powers. It's really cool, and I think it adds a lot more kind of like power to WandaVision. And it's interesting because I do like WandaVision. I think it's one of those shows that was a standout in, right after Endgame, continues to be a standout. But something about this show took everything that was good about that and then just like amped it up and added more fun and added more whimsy, but added crazy lore and stakes and everything. And I don't know. I genuinely like Agatha more than WandaVision now, which is weird. I didn't think I could, but I feel like I do.
I don't know. I think Heather, the actress Heather Hahn, right?
Yeah, Catherine Hahn.
Catherine Hahn. Yeah. Heather Hahn. Who the fuck is that? I don't know. I think she makes it. I think WandaVision doesn't really do it justice because I mean I rate the third Olsen really well in terms of the actor, but I just think Catherine just made it pop.
Totally. Yeah.
For
she does
sure. Yeah,
so
she's
much in the
great.
show.
Yeah. Her
Yeah,
facial expressions, all the jokes she does, like lands, like
she's the best.
she's great, and she can, not only is she funny, she can make you feel for her. She's a good dramatic actress as well.
Yeah,
It's so good.
yeah.
Definitely. How are we feeling about this new Billy? We've got Billy Maximoff, very clearly Wiccan, Young Avengers, all that. How are we feeling about following this character moving forward?
I mean, considering what he's done in the Young Avengers and who he is, he's tied to like Hulkling. He's also tied to Speed as well too.
Yeah.
I think he's showing here. I can see it moving forward. I would like to see him kind of interact with other like quote unquote more established characters, bigger names as well too. I want to see how he does in that field. But I think he's Wiccan right now, and until I see how he plays in with other characters and how his vibes, because I mean, in all honesty, Avengers and how they set up that whole cast just works so well together. So if they can do that again, with these new up and coming individuals, I'm nothing but positive.
One more question for you on that, though. Like, did you like Joe Locke as an actor in this role? Do you think he hit all the marks? Did he match the vibe? Was he funny? Was he endearing? All that kind of stuff.
I thought he was relatively timid as a whole, and I think he kind of came into himself. He has some funny quips, but I don't know if that's just good writing or if that's him actually acting well. Like I said, I would have to see him in more roles and also more within like Wiccan as a whole, just because we saw some of his character, but we didn't see it wasn't as like obvious as I mean the rest of the cast. The rest of the cast was kind of outstanding, right? And to me, he was there and relevant. I wouldn't say he was tertiary, but at the same point in time, I wouldn't say he's Catherine. I wouldn't say he was anybody else in that sense.
Interesting. Okay, that's fair.
Oh.
Yeah, I think for me, he definitely shines sometimes. Though I was like, wow, he's keeping up with Catherine Hahn. So yeah, what about you, Scott? What do you think?
No, I agree with both of you. Like, I feel like he fit that character really well, and in a lot of scenes, he is the youngest of the group, right? And he felt that way. Kind of felt like a kid in a room full of adults, and all of these adults are like great actors. So I guess it maybe in that regard, I'm not comparing it as much, because it's like if you're gonna hang out with adults and they bring their kid, you're not expecting to have the same kind of conversation with this kid as you do adults. So you can, it's easier to see the difference. But if you like compare him to like a Timothée Chalamet or something, like, is he on that level like that? You know what I mean? Like, so I've only seen him in this.
Too soon to tell.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see him like in a whole different role. Because it felt like this character probably fits well with maybe kind of how he is in real life. It kind of seemed like, other than, him just being a witch, but like the way he talks and portrays and everything, like it just felt like he was kind of maybe doing himself, which is not bad, but it would be interesting to see him like do a different role that's totally not like similar to this character, and like see how that compares.
Absolutely. I really want to see him with Iman Vellani, who plays Miss Marvel, and really want to see him with Haley Steinfeld. I think that is going to be a super cool combination. And like, they're all so fun, and they're all so curious, and they're also new to the world of superheroing. I think it's going to be awesome to see him with them. And then you kind of bring in Patriot, Iron Lad, who else? Cassie Lang. We got her in Ant-Man. I think this Young Avengers team is going to be really, really fun. And I was mentioning this too. We had like a election day live stream that we were putting on, Geek Freaks was, and I got to join. And one of the things was, this story makes so much sense for where the Marvel universe is now. The Young Avengers in the comic books form in place because the Avengers aren't there; they're disbanded. I mean, it's literally, I think it's literally called Avengers Disbanded. And because they're not around, Vision, this newer version of Vision kicks in this backup protocol that says, hey, we need to find the next group of heroes that can step up in the Avengers' place because we don't have any. And so they go around and they pick all these different Avengers, and that's how this group gets formed. And this makes a ton of sense because we don't have Avengers right now. Like, we know Captain America, that's going to be a big part of that story, is how does Sam Wilson not only step into his own, but then decide to like form a new team. We know Thunderbolts is going to be the closest thing that we're getting in the MCU to a team up.
Mm-hmm.
So having the Avenger or Young Avengers show up and be like, well, we're going to be the biggest team that we can make because the Avengers aren't around anymore. I think this is perfectly placed. I just think these shows and movies need to come out ASAP before these kids get too big and too famous or too busy or whatever. But I really like the dynamic they're building, and the whole time when I was like, okay, he's Billy Maximoff, he's wicked. I just kept thinking Amon Vellani, Haley Steinfeld, Kate Bishop, like the banter between all these people and these young actors is going to be fantastic. It's just going to be so fire. So I thought he did a fantastic job. It makes me want to go back and watch more Joe Locke roles because he's so good. It's tremendous.
Yeah. And sorry, in regards to you saying you kind of like Agatha all along, maybe better. I feel like this has more rewatchability for myself. I know WandaVision was good, but it was kind of sad, This it's nice that this came out during Halloween. It's themed that way too, so I could see myself checking this out. Like every once in a while during Halloween or something, like a rewatch of all the episodes or something. So
yeah,
it's definitely more fun and So in that regard, I think better.
Yeah,
more rewatchability.
Rewatchability, I think it always for me now
definitely way better than that crap Drake likes. I see your face, Drake, and you're not liking what I'm saying, so take it, bro.
Wow, I'm taking it so deep. You're 69ing me right now.
He's got a lightsaber for your butt.
You're boom.
Whoa, dang! Calm it down, sir. Get those hymns out of your mouth.
Oh man, but. Yeah. And then we get classic. Last thing I'll say about this, we got classic Agatha from the comic. And another thing, I kind of threw out there as a prediction because that was true. I knew Agatha was going to die because we
wait, she died?
Wait, what?
Yeah. Did you guys not watch?
It, dude.
Oh, you did not watch the last 10 minutes? Did you not watch the last 10 minutes?
She's a ghost, man.
Not bad.
No, I did. I'm just joking.
Okay. Yeah. Damn, dude, I felt bad for a second. I was
like, I feel like, I was like, I think he genuinely.
You better stay awake to the end of the credits, man. These episodes are 36 minutes.
God damn, dude. God damn.
But
hey, good. So, I mean, good prediction though.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's come true. One thing I didn't get correct though was Mephisto. I thought for sure Mephisto was popping up this series because Sacha Baron Cohen, Ali G himself has already been cast. He's showing up in Ironheart. I thought. His story's way more tied to Agatha and Billy and Speed. Why would he not be in the show? Didn't show up at all. Got that one wrong. But we got the Mephisto call out.
The Ali G. Yeah.
Yeah, bud.
Yeah.
And we'll get that.
Oh, that's another thing. Because Catherine Hahn, like, is she still Ghost, right? Is she gonna like hang out and like are they gonna team up like going forward? Like, I'm down for more Catherine Hahn every once in a while.
I think
I
for
bet
sure.
You are, you dirty dog.
I'll leave it at that. I think she had so much fun with the show. I think Jack Schaefer is so well at like creating compelling stories that also have comic roots. Agatha has popped up numerous times, even as a ghost, with Wanda, with Billy, and we also know that we're getting the Fantastic Four. Arguably, her most famous role is the nanny for the Fantastic Four. I could see us having an alternate version where she's the nanny for Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby's kid.
Like, dude, that'd be sick.
So I think there's a lot of room.
I want to see more Catherine Hahn.
Yeah, and it'll be kind of a same role but different. It'll be a variant version of Agatha.
Yeah,
we will see her again, and I'm so stoked that. Yeah, again, it's so surprising. This show exists. She nailed it, and yeah, keep this character going. It makes me actually want to go back and like read more comics to like see her vibe in them, It's really cool. They did a good job. Really good job. So yeah, tremendous show. We'll probably have to get at some point, we'll have to do like a Disney Plus show rankings or something. And then we're obviously at the end of the year, we're gonna have our top shows, we're gonna have our top movies, top comics, and top video games. And yeah, we'll definitely do that, before the year's up. And yeah, I don't know. This was an awesome Halloween though. I thought there were so many good movies and shows.
I agree.
I bet you did.
Yeah, I did.
Dirty job.
Yep. 31. You know, I was almost Baskin Robin with how much joy I was getting from all this stuff.
Dang, you were trying all the flavors of the rainbow.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, yeah, Scott's gotta get going. We'll leave it. We'll leave it there.
Dirty
but
job.
yeah, any closing thoughts, final words for episode 169? I'll let Scott go first because I know Drake's he's whipping up something. I can see the thoughts cooking here.
Oh yeah, just a quick. If there's other shows that you think you might want to watch, check these out. Maybe Don to Don is on Netflix and Crunchyroll. They got a new Dragon Ball Daimo, I believe. That's kind of cool. And Arcane season 2 comes out on the 9th, so check that out.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, if you're running out of time and you can't 69, diarrhea. Thanks for shaking around.
The Joystick Show. The Joystick Show.
If you've enjoyed what you've been listening to, we'd really appreciate a follow, subscribe, and a review. Just how we like chatting with our friends, please share this with yours. Feel free to join the squad and follow us at JoyStickShow Joystick Show on Twitter and Instagram, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you feel like submitting topics or questions to be discussed on future episodes, you can email us at joystick.show@gmail.com. As always, thank you, peace out, and make it a great rest of your week.